It is the oddest thing in the world to explain. When the baby's born and you go home at night and go about your regular life, like, what happened? Where did it all go?
My name's Angie, and this is my husband, Anthony. We've known each other about 13 years now.
Yeah.
We met at a Halloween party through a mutual friend. I was trying to set him up with my best friend. Obviously that didn't work.
We ended up hanging out, talking at the party and stuff, and I think, the next couple days later, we ended up going on a date, and that was the end of that. And we've been together ever since, so.
We dated for a long time.
Yeah, dated for
maybe a little too long.
9 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
And then got married, and a year and a half later, we found out we were pregnant. And then the surprise of twins.
I was shocked at first, but I was excited. My grandma had twins, my aunt and uncle were twins, so I was kind of familiar with it, and her talking about the bond of them growing up and seeing them together. So once we got over the whole shock of it, it started to get a little more exciting. I woke up one morning, I was 25 weeks along, and I started having contractions. Anthony was getting ready to leave for a bachelor party in Vegas, so he thought I was just trying to keep him home. So we got to the hospital, and they were kind of nonchalant about it. The nurses just kind of said, you know, you're most likely going to be on bed rest the rest of the pregnancy, either in the hospital or at home. So we weren't really too worried. They were kind of confident they were going to get the contractions to stop, and they would keep me in bed the rest of the pregnancy and everything would be okay. But as the day went on, my contractions started getting stronger and closer together, and the nurse came in and checked me and rushed out, didn't say anything, called the doctor in. 10 minutes later, we were in a C-section. So, I mean, we had no idea what was ahead. I was able to ask the doctor one question. I asked her what the likelihood of them surviving was, and she said 60%. They took us into the C-section, and they both came out crying, but they both crashed shortly after, and they were able to revive Riley, but they weren't able to revive our son Luke. So he passed away shortly after he was born. And we didn't even get to see Riley. They just rushed her straight off to the NICU.
Riley was born at 11:50, and that entire night she flatlined three or four times through the course of the night, and they just kept reviving her.
And that went on for a couple days.
Yeah, the first 3 days were touch and go. It was rough, to say the least.
She was born at 1 pound 10 ounces and 12 inches long, so she fit in your hand. It was scary, and not knowing what was ahead and what was going to happen, and all of the emotions of everything we just went through, it was almost impossible to even comprehend. Her brain bleed was so severe that she might be brain dead or have severe brain damage the rest of her life. We weren't looking at a normal childhood. There came a point where they told us, if she crashes again, we don't really think that we should resuscitate her anymore because it's too much on her body. So there came a point where we thought, okay, the next time's gonna be the time. But she never had a next time. Around the 2-month mark, once they were able to get her off the oscillator and stuff, they were able to drop some of her pain medication, so she was more awake and more alert, and we were able to hold her. At that point, everything got more real. It felt like we had a baby, like she's gonna be okay. There were still a lot of unknowns, but we saw bringing her home. There was light at the end of the tunnel. We could see the end of the NICU stay, to where in the beginning, we didn't know if there was gonna be a baby coming home, you know?
She was on respirators until, the end of October, beginning of November, so 3 months on respirators.
But then, finally they said, okay, you can take her home tomorrow.
They got a book, Mom. They got a book. But what do you need, Mommy?
What do we say before we eat? Wash your hands.
Got it. Hi.
Riley is very
Active.
active and always happy. She's always happy. She always has a smile on her face. That's one thing that I hope she carries on the rest of her life. Her excitement for the little things all the time.
People meet her now and would never guess.
Her hearing's great, her eyesight's great. She's walking, she's doing everything a normal child would do, and I think a lot of that has to do with the oscillator. Without it all, Riley wouldn't be here with us today. It's probably hard to see, but you guys really are making a difference. You don't see the everyday and you don't see these machines put to work, but it really, you're saving lives.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You have to wait. Come on.